I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We work for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road.
What's up, JFW family? Welcome back to the Channel 23 podcast. The purpose of this podcast is to reach out and touch the fleet, to engage and inform everyone with all things JFW. Welcome Jim White, Dave White, and Super Dave Weldon. Morning, man.
Morning, everybody.
Hey, good morning.
Wow, you do speak loud. Whoa.
You didn't ask me for a mic check, did you?
If you are out there driving around today and you want to join us for the Pledge of Allegiance, now's the time. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Before we get into the trucker prayer, Manny Velasquez popped in my mind the other day, and just been thinking about him. Have any of you guys talked to him at all?
Have not. Yeah, a couple weeks ago, seeing him a couple weeks ago. Well,
Yeah, that was
probably
awesome.
2 months ago.
Manny, you should come back down. We'd love to see you.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah,
I missed you on the last visit, Manny.
Yeah, come by and bug us. Give us an update.
Yep. Bring your daughter too. She's cute. And Felipe and your wife. Bring the whole family.
Sure.
And you're cute too, Manny.
He's adorable.
Big teddy bear.
Father God, we thank you for the opportunity to go out and do some trucking today. We pray for the safety of our fleet, all of their families, and all the other families and individuals we come across on the road today. We pray for the patience in making the good, safe decisions. We pray to be accident-free, and that we all make it back to the comforts of our homes this evening. We pray for healing and 100% recovery for all of our family members that are ill. No matter what, we trust you, God, and it's in Jesus' name we pray.
Amen.
Amen.
As a reminder, anything you hear on today's podcast is just our expressed opinion combined with facts. Episode 132 had 276 downloads. We are at 73.4 thousand total downloads, and we're at 576 followers.
Nice.
Yeah.
Brother Dave, the other day you were talking about American Rust,
Yeah.
the TV show. So I started watching that with Ace, but they play commercials on it. Like,
I forgot about that, yeah.
yeah, so the other day this commercial comes on and my wife's like, why are they showing a dementia commercial? I'm like, babe, that's a Joe Biden campaign ad. It's time for the dad joke challenge. You guys want to hear a joke about vegetables?
Sure.
Never mind, it's corny.
That's a Bella joke right there, huh?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, man. Do you know what Spartacus said after the lion ate his wife?
No idea.
Gladiator.
Theater. Oh,
That's creative.
bada boom.
Nice job.
That's
funny.
a lot like mine.
Is it?
Yeah. Why did the snail paint a giant S on his car?
Because he's escargot.
Ooh.
Pretty close. So when he drove by, people could say, look at that S car go.
That's funny. Well, mine's kind of a story this morning, so I ran across it and I was like, oh, that's just cute. I'll do that one. So Morris and his wife Esther went to the state fair every year. And every year Morris would say, Esther, I'd really like a ride in that helicopter. Esther always replied, I know, Morris, but that helicopter ride is $50, and $50 is $50. One year, Esther and Morris went to the fair, and Morris said, Esther, I'm 85 years old. If I don't ride that helicopter, I might not ever get another chance. To this, Esther replied, Morris, that helicopter ride is $50, and $50 is $50. The pilot overheard the couple and said, "Folks, I'll make you a deal. I'll take both of you for a ride, and if you can stay quiet for the entire ride and don't say a word, I won't charge you a penny. But if you say one word, it's $50. Morris and Esther agreed, and they went up. The pilot did all kinds of fancy maneuvers, but not a word was heard. He did his daredevil tricks over and over again, but still not a word. When they landed, the pilot turned to Morris and said, "By golly, I did everything I could to get you to yell out, but you didn't. I'm impressed." Morris replied, "Well, to tell you the truth, I almost said something when Esther fell out, but you know, $50 is $50.
That's funny.
I didn't see that one coming at all.
No,
Right?
that's a really good one. $50 is $50.
Yep. I almost said something when Esther fell out.
Oh, man.
I like those that just you don't see coming.
You figured that one yesterday. I heard
did.
him laughing.
I did.
And he's like, Dave, I got my joke. And I was like, man, it must be a good one.
Yeah.
Well, it was.
That's funny.
Definitely was.
New employees. We got Gustavo Goose Linares and Andrew Berger. Welcome to the fleet.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome, you guys.
Welcome, everybody.
Celebrations, anniversaries. We had a big one. Ann Peterson Stutz hit 12 years yesterday.
Congratulations, Ann.
Way
doubt.
to go, Ann.
And then Ron Bugler. He's hitting 5 years tomorrow.
Congratulations,
Ron.
Ron.
Yeah. And then birthdays. We had Greg Wise had a birthday this past Sunday. And then Casey Guthrie had a birthday yesterday.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
guys.
Happy
So-
birthday, Greg and Casey.
Happy birthday, guys.
It's kind of ironic because I asked Casey, I was like, or I told Casey, hey, happy belated birthday. And he's like, birthdays are just birthdays. They don't mean much anymore. I'm like, well, why'd you take yesterday off? And he said, I didn't want everybody wishing me a happy birthday. So happy birthday, Casey.
Yeah.
We'll just keep it between us, Casey. Happy birthday.
Yeah, not everybody's going to hear happy birthday.
Family birthday celebrations. Johnny Beret's daughter, Analia, she had a birthday on Sunday. Dwayne Sand's wife, Jen, has a birthday today. And then Benny Gonzalez's daughter, Azalia, she has a birthday coming up this Sunday. So happy birthday, everybody.
Yeah, happy birthday,
birthday.
family.
Shout outs. We want to give a shout out to Mikey for coming in early for the 2 weeks while Ricky DeLeon is on vacation. So it's good to see Mikey here, bright and shiny every morning at 5.
Absolutely. Thanks, Mikey.
Yep. I can tell he loves it too.
Yeah, he said he was watching something on TV and it was like 10 or 10:15, and he looked at the clock and he's like, oh my gosh, he said, I got to get up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. I got to go to bed.
Welcome to our world.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Good to see somebody, one of the leaders. We talk about what all the leaders do around here, and for him to take the time and switch his whole schedule up just to be able to be with the new guys.
Yeah,
I mean, that's
absolutely.
not his fault that, we had people leave and quit, and, Ricky's on vacation, but to take the new people and to step up and be out of your comfort zone and be here every morning, that's somebody that's in the arena.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome. I know the shout out down a little bit farther, for JR and Jimmy, but yeah, it's good to see that.
Yep. Yeah, Mikey cares.
Yep, absolutely.
Want to give a shout out to James Koger. That is Rick Showtime Gray's buddy. They were talking about a picture of a trailer that tipped over onto another truck. And James said to Rick, he listens to our podcast and he heard about us talk about not doing that. So appreciate you listening, James.
Yeah, absolutely. And hopefully, I don't know, does James Indump, do you know? Is he a driver or anything? Or
I think he's a driver. I don't know if he
Indumps,
or not.
but
Yeah.
yeah. Well, hopefully. Yeah, thanks for listening. Hopefully there's things you take from the podcast here.
Absolutely. Jim, this is your shout out. You want to give it?
Yeah. Just to touch upon it right quick, and JR, I see down a little farther, talks about it a little bit, but JR and Jimmy, they both, I kind of dumped it on JR. Pinnacle came to us and we were asked if we wanted to be involved. But anyway, Pinnacle contacted us and asked if we wanted to do a safety segment on safe driving. And I said, absolutely, and lots of things going on here. So I kind of dumped it on JR's plate. And of course, JR took the reins, like I said, people in the arena. And we talked about different drivers here that would, participate in one of there was like 15 people that came to mind. And Jimmy was one of them that we thought would do a great job being interviewed, passionate about safety and stuff like that. And Channel 7 News, Pinnacle were here. They were here for a long time and shot I guess I'm going to call it a commercial, but it's about safety. It's for Pinnacle, safety about the people out on the road. And
It's kind of a short story.
Basically,
It's
yeah.
not a commercial. It's not going to air that way. I mean, it's a piece, right?
It's a
spot.
It's a safety piece, right? I mean, that's what it is. And Pinnacle and Channel 7's doing it. So really, it's a big deal. And those guys both helped out. Again, our leaders being here in the arena and taking the reins and taking care of some of this stuff. And I'm excited to see it. And like I said, I know JR has a good shout out here for the people at Channel 7 and Pinnacle. So good stuff, everybody. Thank you.
It'll be great.
Yep, JR actually says, good afternoon, Jam. If you could give a few shout outs from JFW to the following people for Pinnacle and Channel 7 news piece we did on safe driving. Channel 7 news anchor Nicole Brady and cameraman Eddie. From Pinnacle, Mindy Carruthers and Monica Cabrera. And then Trexler Communications had Katie Trexler here. They themselves wanted to thank Jim and Dave for allowing them to shoot this piece and to allow them to have one of our assets and driver, 00101 Jimmy, for a few hours to having a few shots. Thank you to Marshall next door at Denville Truck and Trailer for stopping work for about 10 minutes to be able to conduct interviews in our yard without noise. Special thank you from Katie, as she is the one who went over and asked them for that favor. This piece may be airing as early as next Tuesday and will also be available on social media and the Channel 7 app and or website from JR. So thanks, JR. Great shout out.
Must have been pretty noisy next door. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't know anything about that.
It must
but-
have been, yeah.
Yeah, it must have been out there
Cutting,
hammering, rattling
yeah.
on a trailer or something with an air chisel or something.
Yeah, I did talk to Jimmy about that, and I was like, is it going to be on at 5 o'clock? The 5 o'clock news? He said, well, she's the morning anchor, and she goes on air at 4:30 a.m.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know if
She's
we'll
on
be
our
able to-
schedule.
I know. I said, man, she gets up earlier than us, really.
Yeah.
She's on air
Yeah,
at
if she's
4:30.
there ready at
Yeah.
4:30.
Oh, yeah. But anyway, he was telling me about the social media link, and so I think we'd probably be easier to find on the social media link. Just Google, safe driving on the webpage.
Once we have it, we'll throw it up on our social media as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and the thing is, it's going to go out everywhere at Pinnacle.
Yeah.
I mean, Pinnacle is using it as their work comp, driving safety, summer tips, basically. So,
Yeah, and if anybody doesn't know, maybe I didn't explain that, Pinnacle is one of the leading providers of work comp here in the state. That's just the name of the company. And whenever you think of work comp, you think of Pinnacle.
Right.
There's other carriers, but Pinnacle does a great job, and we've partnered with them for years now. I don't even know how long, for sure. But yeah, great. We've had to be advocates for ourselves, but Pinnacle's always responded with so much help through the years on different cases.
Whenever I think of Pinnacle, I think of Joe Newhouse and Texas Hold'em.
Right, absolutely. Him coming in here and playing the song and doing all that. Yeah, just we've got good relations with people out there in the industry. It's good to have that partnership. And then, and I'm pretty sure, well, I know for a fact, Joe and Eric from, Joe from Pinnacle, Eric from Flood and Peterson, they recommended us to Pinnacle to do this commercial, thought we'd be a great company. So yeah, good stuff out there when you have that reputation.
lots of shout outs. Should do a shout out to those guys. A shout out to the Wash Bay for having
Yeah,
Jimmy's truck gleaming.
cleaning.
And,
Yeah.
just a lot. It's never one person here.
No.
It takes a village to do everything. So it's awesome. I mean, when something like that comes together, the shout outs don't stop.
Randy Alvarez, he's a newer driver here. He wants to give a shout out to Gabe Colmenero and Ray for always being willing to help. Those are two guys that'll drop everything to help another driver. So
Absolutely.
nice job, guys.
Yep.
And then Tracy Holloway, he wants to give a shout out to Matt Cummins for his willingness to change trucks at the last minute. There has been several times in the morning We have asked him to run a rubble truck when we have call-outs. Putting up with Frito overfilling the trailer, put things in front of the trailer so he can't hook up, or getting there and having no load. Matt has never complained about anything. He just does what it takes. Thank you, Matt. That's true. I mean,
It is very true.
Matt's been a pleasure.
Yeah, we talked to him just last night at the doorway at the shop, and I asked him. I said, "Matt, do you miss Frito? Because they haven't had a load for a month or more." And he smiled and paused and said, "No, not really." And I said, "It's not so bad unless you get a really sloppy load." And he agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just do it and get the job done.
Right.
And that's an outstanding frame of mind to have.
Kathy Rutherford wants to give a shout out. It was great to hear from her being engaged and wanting to thank people. She says, "Hi, Jam. I wanted to give a shout out to some drivers, particularly the Rubble and Coors drivers. I wanted to thank them for their hard work and being patient with me when I contact them about missing paperwork or other questions about their loads. They are always so nice and professional. I'm very thankful to work with such a great group of guys. You are the best. I also wanted to give a shout out to Dispatch. You guys are the best." Who's the best? They are always so nice and professional as well. We just have a lot of people here that are the best. Thanks, Kathy. Awesome shout out.
Yes, we do.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I didn't actually finish. She says, "They're always willing to answer my questions," referring to Dispatch. Such a great group of people here at JFW. So awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, Jam, the other day. We're always at fault, all of us, or me and Dave especially, because it comes down to costing money, or maybe it might be a safety issue. But you concentrate on so much of the accidents we have and the money spent. And we had one the other day at Plant 2 where it was just a mistake, but a horrible mistake, basically, as far as how blatant it was. But anyway, we have so many good people, other people that we just don't recognize. You just don't, we've tried to do the silent warriors and stuff like that, but Kathy's, I think she's just past 90 days here, and giving shout outs, and we have, like I'm talking, I love that. We have so many people that are in the arena every day, and they come out bloody and marred. And I was thinking about Matt, coming out, sweaty, dirty, bloody, and marred, and he comes out with potato chips. That's it. When he has to go
Comes out smelling like a bag of Fritos.
Right, when he goes and does Frito. So yeah, just I hope we still take enough time and thank the people that again are in the arena, and because we have some really good people here that are doing some amazing things.
100%. Jim or Dave, I can't remember, but this left lane sitting was one of your guys's. You want to take that?
It was mine, Jam. I just recently did a trip back to West Lafayette, Indiana to see our son. And we drove out because we had a whole bunch of things to deliver to him. He was moving out of a dorm into a house back there with the rest of his teammates. And it's a 16-hour drive each way. So we spent 32 hours, on the road in 4 days, right? Or yeah, technically 3 days because it's a day and a half. But anyway,
You mean he didn't go 16 straight, Dave?
nope.
Man.
My logbooks wouldn't allow it.
Yeah. Hours of service violation.
So anyway, I just was a little dumbfounded at how many people just sit in the left lane. Even when it's wide open and there's no cars on the road, they're just sitting in the left lane. And I would wind up passing them in the right lane, and go by and kind of give them that look like, hey, dumbass, why are you in the left lane? You know what I mean? Or, and I was really shocked. I feel like, rewind maybe 10 years at most. And I feel like it was a different courtesy that was applied by drivers. There was a driving respect that, hey, I'm only going to be in the left lane long enough to pass this vehicle, and then I'm going to get back over. And man, I ran into it time and time again where a truck would come out in the left lane to pass another truck, but he would do it like a half mile early. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And I never ran into a group when because on a 2-lane highway, you get packed up, you get grouped up inevitably because someone as they're passing another vehicle, they just love to sit next to the one they're passing. They just lose track of what they're doing, or their phone rings, or they do a text, or God knows what. And you get grouped up because of that when it's wide open in front of both of them. And you wouldn't see that truck just pass. Or if you'd turn on a blinker, it seemed like cars would slow up, or other trucks would slow up and let that truck out. So I don't understand why they were out there. And I clearly I was complaining to my wife about it, like what's going on? Where did we lose that left lane is the fast lane? And we've all joked about it here for years now that the slow lane is the fast lane, because when cars get on the interstate, they just immediately 3 lanes over to that fast lane and they think they go. And it seems like I make better time in the slow lane anymore on a 3-lane highway because everybody fights to get to that left lane. But my point is that is supposed to be a passing lane. And as much as I was complaining about it, Janet goes, well, how come they're all out there? And I said, I don't know. We've gotten many tickets on I-70 over the years when we've had drivers coming down from like Wallstrom and they're on I-70 and they sit in that left lane from like the Morrison exit all the way to I-76. I mean, think about it, you guys. Over the years, we've had 5-6 tickets because we shouldn't be in that left lane.
Yeah.
We're holding up traffic. The same on Highway 85. We've been
several
stopped
on
sitting in that left lane.
Yeah, 85, really.
I guess it's a professional courtesy. We know to be in that right lane. And I guess I just wonder, these other companies, is anyone explaining that? Is anyone talking about that? Is anyone teaching that? Is that not in the 30-day I got my CDL license truck driving school advocacy anymore? That's not taught. And I was also, on a journey like that. I don't use my foot pedal. I set the cruise and we go. It's just a no-brainer to me.
I do too.
Why should I use that foot pedal when a button can do the same thing? And I sit there relaxed. And, I had the cruise on. I told the story to somebody yesterday morning. I crossed the Nebraska-Colorado state line on Sunday morning, and I was in the slow lane, not many people around, and a woman from Florida passed me. And I was like, oh, she's making good time, because I'm not going to tell you what I had my cruise set at. And the next thing I know, she's going slow.
She must have been going 100.
Well, the next thing I know, I'm still in the slow lane and she's in the fast lane, and my feet are on the floor. I have my cruise set. I'm at one set speed. That's it. And I passed her, and she looked at me when I went past her while she was in the fast lane and I was in the slow lane. And I kind of looked at her like, hey, you should probably get over it, And then, sure enough, a few minutes later, she passes me again, and then the next thing I know, she does get over. Well, she never did get over. She stayed in that fast lane the whole time. So then I had to get over, and I sat behind her, had to slow up. And she was just, this speed, that speed, this speed, that speed. And I don't know. I wish sometimes I think, the left lane sitting, we need to be aware of that. Our drivers need to be aware of that. You should be in that left lane to pass someone and then get back over. We've gotten many tickets for it on Highway 85 going to Fort Lupton and coming down from Fort Lupton. And, we're all the way up to going to be moving up to Highway 66 pretty soon with Brannon, because they're going to be open in the Nix property right next door to Vara. So our distance on Highway 85 is going to be even further.
16 miles farther.
Yeah, round trip,
right.
8 miles further each 8 miles up, 8 miles back, right? So more opportunity to do left lane sitting, which we just shouldn't do, and I guess I just wanted to speak about it. I think it's an issue. I think it makes us look bad. You don't ever gain anything from it.
Yeah.
I
got to jump in there, Dave. It's on the books. It's a law.
Right.
That the left lane is for passing.
Right.
And it's, it's not a travel lane.
Yeah.
And I've had a state patrolman tell me in the past, this was years and years ago, the left lane is for speeding.
Wow. So true.
It is, right? If you're out there, buddy, you better be going 10 over.
Yeah.
Well,
let's put it this way, Dave. I'm amazed how many vehicles I passed in the slow lane on that trip up and trip back.
Crazy.
Dumbfounding. Like just with the cruise set. Just sail them.
Those are the same people that never use their directional signal
right.
to turn or change lanes.
Right.
How much you want to bet?
Yeah. Yeah, just so, everybody keep that in mind. We'll get tickets if we're sitting in that left lane. Here in Colorado, it's illegal. In the other states as well, but apparently not that big of issue, but I think so many states are their police is so defunded, and I think they struggle. That's such a tough position to have. I know it's not a glorious position anymore. I don't think it has the respect and,
good. There's probably good people in it and bad people in it,
Yeah.
Dave. I mean, just
Yeah.
like we always say,
Yeah.
Think about that. I listen to you talk, and you talk, again, let's not go political, but we've talked about how many laws we passed this year, right?
Right.
But we have so many laws that nobody follows anyway. And then we create some more laws.
Yeah.
And, so many of the laws used to be just about courtesy. Kind of like you're saying, Dave, not supposed to be in that left lane, using your turn signal. Those are all mastering your driving, habits. And people don't care about being the best, and I know all the guys listening, you guys drive, hundreds of miles a day. You're out there, and again, to use my words from earlier, in the arena. But, our 18-minute drive in the morning, when, one of the big spots is when we come past 120th, everybody gets on that long on-ramp there, and there's the metering light, and it's usually a pretty busy on-ramp all the way across. 9 out of the 10 cars go all the way across to the fast lane when there's nobody in the slow lane.
And they have a whole. That's one of the longest acceleration lanes there is.
But who teaches that? Where do you learn that? You have to have the mindset that it's, I'm going to the fast lane, F you.
Yeah. And I'm going to cross the solid white gore line to do it.
Yeah. It's just so.
Don't be that guy. That's all I can say.
Yeah.
Don't be that guy.
Like putting
right,
up
Jim?
the shopping cart.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's tough out there when you're dealing with the people every day, and you see how disconnected we've become from each other and the rules.
Sure.
I want to end up talking. Some of my final thoughts is nobody has mentioned Memorial Day weekend this week. I don't know if I didn't see it on any of the notes in the podcast here or anything, but man, that's to celebrate our nation's service members that have died to give us the freedoms we have, and how important it is. And anyway, I got some stuff about it in the closing thoughts, but that's
I mentioned the weather this morning. I didn't say anything
the week-
about honoring
weekend.
our fallen service members, but I said the weather's going to be nice this weekend.
right. And then,
You're right, though, Jim.
we look forward to barbecues, and I'm looking forward to the day off. And when I get to the end there, I'll talk about it, because this is we've always spent that day going and seeing our relatives, that have passed, which is not what it's meant for, you know. But it's a good reminder to go do that once a year. So, but anyway, I'll talk about that later. Yeah.
Well, be careful if you fly those flags this weekend. A lot of people are to the point they don't like seeing American flags.
I know it. I seen a deal that way. Where
I don't know where we're at.
You should come to my house and knock on my door so we could talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even mind if you let one of your dogs discuss it with them,
Yep.
Jam.
There's a sign about the dogs before you knock on the door.
My flag flies every day on the front of my house.
Yeah,
I thought that
Dave.
was your freak flag.
Yeah, I put that away 50 years ago.
Oh, too funny.
Yeah.
Too funny.
I'd like to talk about blackout dates. I feel like we are running the system backwards. The way it's supposed to work is, and this isn't directed at one person because this has been the struggle of like the last 2 weeks. You make an appointment, you go to put it in Paycom and it's blacked out. Then you call me and you're like, hey, I try to request this day off and it won't let me. It's blacked out. And I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do from there.
Look at the sorry, Jam. Look at the blackout dates before you make the appointment?
Yes, that's what I'm asking. If you can look at the dates before you make the appointment, that would be helpful. Now, that being said, some guys say to me, hey, well, I won't know if I don't ask. And I'll always give it a fair look. Like, hey, maybe I blacked it out because we had, our 7 or even 8, days off requested. And maybe I do have room for one more, early off or something like that. Sometimes I might black it out a little bit early just to control, complete days off. But it's not to be expected. And it's just kind of gotten out of hand. And this month, especially between graduations and the Memorial Day weekend, there's a lot of days blacked out. But even next month, there's already a lot of days blacked out. So please understand, I will give it a fair look if you ask. But the best thing to do is check those blackout dates before you make an appointment.
Yeah, and I have to throw out there, probably upset some people too, Jam, but, graduation day, that's planned at like the beginning.
Surprise!
Sorry, Dave. I missed graduation. I didn't know it was coming up.
Surprise!
We're making fun of it, but take control of your life. Be an advocate. Look at what's coming up for your family and your friends.
Don't sit in that left lane.
Yeah, it's all relative. Like Jam said, you're running it backwards.
Yeah.
Somebody calls and go, "Hey, are you available for this meeting?" I don't go, "Okay." I go, "Wait a second. Let me look at my calendar to see what I have scheduled." Right?
Yeah. I actually had one driver tell me, well, I don't call off a lot. I'll just call off. I don't care. I was like, well, I care less than you care. Like if you want to get an unapproved day off and miss your percentage bump and get disqualified from PTO and you don't care, that's your money and that's your time. I care less about that than you do. That's not the answer. If you want to, and a couple drivers will call out on a blacked out day, and I get it. You got to go do what you got to do. But we have these rules in place, and to me, it's just business. These are the blacked out dates. You're going to have to do what you're going to do from there, I guess. So.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It's like the guy that had the crash that we showed the video of. I don't know if you ever posted that, Jam, but the one that ran the red light when he got out of his car and goes, "Well, that's what insurance is for."
Yeah.
And it was the same kind of attitude or the talk. We just all talked as a family about Father's Day. We were just talking about Father's Day and we're like, hey, let's just do it the next weekend. Or is everybody free the next weekend? Because you don't have to do things on that day.
Yeah, my mom's good about that. Let's the weekend before, the weekend after, a month later. The main point is getting together.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. It doesn't have to be that day.
We just did that last weekend for Mother's and Father's Day together.
Oh,
so
sweet.
the whole family went out to dinner at La Loma down in Denver.
Oh.
And Father's Day is a month away.
Right, Dave?
And we celebrated it just this last weekend.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Wait a minute. You're being proactive, not reactive? That's a heck of a way to organize your life.
When you got to get the family from Castle Rock together with the family from Reunion and the family from Lafayette and,
right?
Get everybody together. It takes some planning.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Good for you.
All right. Next on the list, kids and trucks. Who wants to talk about that? I'm looking at you, Jim.
I felt the stare.
Well, don't look at me on the next one.
That one's for you.
Oh, yes. That one is for you, BD.
I'll take the next one.
Okay, good.
Because I could be objective about it.
Oh, man. You guys, one of the accidents we just had last week, one of the drivers had their kid, their child in the truck with them and was all buckled in the car seat. But the car seat was not buckled to the seat, which we don't know what happened. And we're just, anyway, the kid, I don't like the kid. I don't like the name
Son?
kid.
How about
The son, there you go.
child?
His child, yeah. His son was almost hurt. He fell out of the chair, hit the dash.
Yeah, he bounced off the dash. It wasn't that bad.
Yeah, the little boy.
They're pliable at that age.
Yeah, pretty resilient.
You can drop them and they get back up. But
I'm trying to make light of a bad situation, right?
yeah, and I guess we've not to scare everybody right off the bat, but we're having a serious conversation about not being able to have kids ride in the truck or riders
because this is the second incident.
Yes, this is
the
second.
First one wasn't an accident, but
we're endangering
could
kids.
have been
Yes.
because he was so distracted.
Yep.
Right?
You as drivers are being distracted with the responsibility that you have to your children when they ride with you in the truck. And again, it has nothing to do with us, but it's looking like, we may lose our privileges to be able to have riders in the trucks, and it's all about safety, you guys. And everybody has to understand if that child gets hurt, there's no insurance. They don't have workman's comp. They don't have.
They're not an employee.
They're not an
on our
employee.
books. They don't have a social security number here. They're not on our
nothing.
EIN. They're not anything.
And then this driver picked up his son and never notified dispatch, so we had no idea that the child was in the truck. So in the worst case scenario, if something happened to the truck and we needed emergency services, nobody would have looked for a kid.
Right.
That's nobody would have looked. I mean, God, that's just it makes me sick to my stomach.
I know you asked that. I hadn't heard that yet.
Yeah, that's what I asked. and
Wow.
nobody-
So dispatch had no idea.
no idea.
Huh.
Nope. That was not approved to stop and pick up your
So
child.
it wasn't even an approved passenger.
Nope.
Never.
No.
In any way.
Nothing. And those are the mistakes that you guys out there just can't afford to take. And we contacted our insurance company, and our insurance company told us that this is a big conversation in the industry because there is no coverage for that child. And this is all different companies. I mean, no matter where you go to work for, a lot of times, especially if you're over the road, you like to have somebody ride with you, have an opportunity to share your career with your son, your daughter, your wife, your parents, anything like that. Me and Dave grew up, riding in a truck with Dad. We, Dad didn't drive a long time, but he ran a heavy equipment, and we spent hours sitting on the side of the toolbox or the step or whatever in a loader with Dad. And that was some of the funnest times, it was our childhood. And we do not want to take that away from.
And riding with Grandpa.
And riding with Grandpa, yeah. And any of our drivers. And so we've got some solutions, but we're going to have to tighten the reins on that you're going to have to be here. And nothing's set in stone yet, but possibility 6 months before you even are allowed to have a rider. We're looking at a separate insurance policy that's really reasonable but doesn't have much coverage for either the driver to purchase or we help the driver purchase that for coverage. But it's after seeing the video, it's very dangerous, you guys, and it's disheartening because again, here's something that we spent our childhood doing, something we believe in as a family, and can't do it.
And have always been advocates for it.
Yeah, we've
always been like, bring your kid to work.
Yep.
Let them ride with you. That's
Yep.
Show them what you do. This is
We're-
how
we're- we're proud of what you do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so cool as well. And I guess I just want to back up and create clarity on what we're talking about and give a scenario here because this is what hit us the other day, and the gravity of it is getting heavier and heavier and heavier. And I guess what I'm leading up to is the fact they say 25% of Colorado motorists are uninsured.
Yep.
And we've had accident after accident after accident where people have just hit us and fled the scene. And the majority of those people, we just assume don't have insurance. They either don't have insurance or don't have a driver's license.
I was going to say, or driver's license.
Right?
Yep.
But the statistics are 25% of Colorado motorists are uninsured.
They might be illegal aliens as well.
True, Dave. True. Yeah. So here's the scenario. You're minding your own business. You're in the slow lane. You're going down I-25. You just went under Northwest Parkway or over Northwest Parkway there. You're coming up to 144th, just minding your own business in the slow lane. And all of a sudden, a car comes out of nowhere that was hauling ass in the fast lane, hits the car in the middle lane, spins out around you. You jackknife, it's the worst accident we've had in ages, and the truck rolls over and you have your kid with you. Well, we have workman's comp for you. We have health insurance possibly for you. We have all the coverage from the automobile that we pay for you. What do we have for that passenger?
Nada.
Nothing. Your kid's sitting there with a broken neck, a broken arm, broken ribs, bleeding.
Head trauma, however far you want to go.
You name
Dave.
it. Paint
Yeah.
the picture, right, Jim?
Yeah.
Paint the picture. How bad can it be?
Yeah.
And we have zero coverage for that. Nothing. I don't care who you are.
And make that fact though, and neither does the person that hits you because they're uninsured. You get nothing from them.
Right. But who you going to sue?
Well, nobody.
You're going to sue us.
That's
Well,
right.
yeah,
I was going to say.
You're going to sue
I
us.
won't see you guys.
Right? Right, Jim? Yeah. You are when your baby is hurt.
Yeah.
And it's our fault because we let that baby ride with you. And who's responsible for that? We are. And it sucks. This is the suckiest part of what we do, right? So we're looking for suggestions from our team here and trying to come up with a better way to have coverage and be safer and do it better. And it's going to be a bit of a process here, but we have to change some of our liabilities there. We can't afford a liability like this.
Yeah, and other companies, we've heard it over and over. Oh, they just don't allow riders.
Yeah.
They just don't.
Nope. No riders.
That's an easy solution. That's not what we want to, how we want to be, what we want to be, how we want to be in the industry. Nothing. And there's other companies out there that want to do the same thing. They want to celebrate their drivers' families, and that's by participating in their job.
Right?
And you can't do that. You can't do that if you can't even buckle your kid's car seat in the truck. And man, or just plain have your kid with you and distracted on the phone.
Right?
I mean, come on, you guys, and that happens throughout the industry. This isn't a JFW problem. It's an industry problem, and we're trying again. Like we have Pinnacle come out, we have Channel 7 come out, and we're trying to we're being celebrated for our safety. This is how we become better. Let's set the standard. Let's put on there that you can't have a rider for 6 months. You can't have any safety violations. Let's say you've gotten your safety bonus for 2 quarters. That qualifies you to have your child with you. Maybe those are some of the rules. That makes you an outstanding driver that's capable of having your child with you.
Yeah, just to clarify, you're just spitballing.
I'm just
You're just
spitballing.
talking out loud.
Just talking out loud.
Sharing your thoughts.
Maybe it needs to be a year.
Right.
And I got to be the devil's advocate here, but you could be the best driver in the world, Jim, and still have that car come out of nowhere.
Absolutely.
Amen,
What,
Dave.
what about
That's
that, right?
Amen.
That's the problem.
Yep.
Yeah, look at that one car that merged onto C470.
Exactly, Jam.
Yeah.
Just, yeah.
Yeah.
You could have
You,
been
right out
you
the
were
door.
doing everything
everything
right.
right. You were just
And
driving down the road, minding
just
your
got
business,
hit.
and you
Yeah.
just got hit.
Yeah, Jim, and Super Dave, I brought you up. We had a meeting with the insurance company the other day, just going over our accidents and stuff. And the guy was talking, I think his name's Larry, right, Dave?
Yes.
Larry. About career drivers that, like you, Dave, that's got, 30 years in the truck, accident free. Okay. And he goes, I would love to try to take those, because there's not that many drivers, but he said those drivers and go, what's your secret? Did you relax? Did you just, have great scanning capabilities? What's your secret to go all those years and be accident free? And I had to speak up with Larry and tell him, from all our video, I said, Larry, I bet they're a great driver, but at some point they have just been lucky. And you just said it, Super Dave. That video we had the other day, just luck. They didn't hit us. In all the years of driving, you're just lucky. You're good where it wasn't that, but you can't control that guy just coming out of nowhere. And it happens more and more. I mean,
You can make your luck defensively drive. Right?
Yeah,
You can
yeah.
make your luck.
yeah, but you
Or-
can't
or
stop
not
that.
all of it.
No, you can't stop that car coming out of nowhere.
That was my scenario.
Yeah.
Right? And then that motorist is uninsured. So
Yeah.
you're who's paying for your baby?
Yeah, perfect point, Super Dave. Everything I said that, like having to work here 6 months, 2 safety quarters, no following, none of that matters if they just come out of nowhere and hit you.
And they don't
that's
have
back to luck.
and
like
they
you
don't
say.
have and they don't have insurance,
Yeah, don't have insurance.
right? I mean, that's the scary part. I know you
Yeah.
looked. I know I'm copied on it, Jim, and I failed to read the whole thing and really dive into it and study it because our insurance company does have a single rider policy that. I mean, to me, it's pretty reasonable per year that you can pay for, right? $158 or something.
180, 189.
Okay,
something like that.
189.
Yeah.
I guess my question to that is, as we're talking about it, is that per passenger?
Yes.
If I have 3 kids, I need 3 policies.
Yeah,
I have to name that policy. So if I'm a person that has, multiple people who want to ride with me, they all need that policy.
Wow.
I think we need to look into that.
We need to ask because I think you can buy a single policy that covers several people as long as you notify
Yes.
them who's riding with
Yes.
you. So I think hopefully that makes it really reasonable that you could have several riders.
Yes.
But I have to bring up the coverage it's wonderful to have the separate coverage, but it's just not a whole lot of money.
Yeah, what was it, 100,000?
100,000, yeah.
100,000.
I mean, that's
you
that's
can,
nothing in medical bills.
yeah, you can eat that up in a day.
I think I had a kidney stone cost $40K.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, you've spit out your stuff before, Dave. Your cancer fights.
I know.
What are those costs? And
$130,000.
yeah, and so it's you guys. We live in a changing world,
Right. Yeah.
The
good news is we're on this side of it.
Yeah.
We are being proactive.
Yep.
Luckily what had happened wasn't a bad situation. No one has been hurt.
Luck again.
Right? But I mean, now we're to the point we need to put some brakes on and go, whoa. We need to relook at this. And it's kind of not our fault. We're looking at protecting everyone here. Not just that one passenger. It's not a shot. It's not a slam on someone who wants to have passengers. But I mean, we need to.
We're advocating it for why? And I'm just saying why did I take the time and contact the insurance company?
Right? Exactly.
Yeah, you guys always held the position if you want us to be able to take people with us.
Yeah.
All right. What kind of insurance policies do we need to have for dogs in the trucks?
Well, that's funny, Jam, because one of the other trucking companies that Flood and Peterson insure asked that question, is there any insurance about dogs? Because Great West, Flood and Peterson, other insurance companies, they don't want dogs in the trucks. It is an absolute big O distraction. It's a safety underneath your feet, falling on the dash, hitting them. There's stories of the dog hitting you from the sleeper and injuring you. It is just, there is no policy. There's no insurance. Dogs are a high risk thing. They're basically a no-no.
Interesting. When I was trucking, I used to take Batman with me. I'm sure you guys remember Batman.
Yeah.
He was a little Boston Terrier, and I mean, he would sleep most of the day. But when he wanted to get out of that truck, he wanted to get out. I didn't blame him because I want to get out too. So I am an advocate for having your best friend with you during the day because it is nice. The dog's not home alone, and you can keep a good eye on the dog. Some of the dogs are getting pretty big though, and a small dog could be a distraction because you mentioned that they could get under your feet, right? A big dog can be a distraction because you can't see your passenger mirror or what have you. If they're standing up in that seat, you can't see. You don't have a good field of view. So,
Sorry to interrupt you, Jam. As you're talking about the distraction, I don't know the driver's name, and I wouldn't say it, but we did watch a video the other day where the dog climbed in the driver's lap.
Yeah, and it was a big dog.
It was a big dog. Thank you, Jam.
Yeah.
And it's just...
Yeah, I mean, a lap dog is bad enough in your lap while you're driving because you don't have full control over that steering wheel, in my opinion.
No.
And then a big dog in your lap, the truck was going slow. I'm not trying to, say it was okay, but the truck was going slow. But yeah, that dog is way too big to be in your lap going down the road. So use some good discretion. If you're going to have a dog in the truck, don't let the dog become a problem because that's the next thing we're going to have to attack is you won't be able to have dogs in the truck, and I don't think anybody wants that except for Brother Dave.
I mean, what happens when you slam on your brakes? Where does that dog go?
Yeah. So one thing I used to do with Batman, and I definitely get your point, is I had a tote in front of the seat that was higher than the seat, and then I had a dog bed on that. So it kind of gave him an angle, where he wasn't falling out of the seat constantly.
Sure.
But yeah, if I slammed on the brake, that would be like a ramp into the windshield.
Yeah. I mean, that accident that Allie had, her dog went all over the place. I mean, he's traumatized to get in a vehicle now.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean, it's not a good, it's just not a,
They do make harnesses that you attach to your
Yeah.
shoulder strap and safety belt. And
Yeah.
I don't have one. Both of my dogs ride in the back seat, when we're camping and so forth. But
Yeah. Allie had Watson is his name, but in a puppy cup, it's supposed to be a protective deal. But the car rolled over, and you can't. Yeah, but that's still your.
ironically, the seatbelt held her in position like it's designed to do.
Exactly.
But they don't make a dog seatbelt to hold
Right.
the dog in position.
I think
Somewhat.
well, yeah,
They
they
do.
do. That's what I was
I mean,
talking about.
Yeah. But you still have to have the responsibility and do it. It's
Yeah.
something separate. But it's still
don't put the harness on and then forget to clip it into.
Yeah, but it's still taking care of your loved one.
Absolutely.
That dog.
Yeah,
is
you don't
still
want
your
the
loved
dog to
one.
get hurt.
You have to.
That wouldn't happen to me.
It never does, right?
Right?
Until it does.
Until it does, right, Dave? That wouldn't happen to me. I wouldn't let that happen.
I was talking to, I'm going to put his name out here because it's kind of a shout out, but Alberto Gordillo, he had his 8-month-old husky with him yesterday, I believe, and I was talking to him about it, and he had the harness and he had the seatbelt, and he's like, yeah, I got everything I need to do it the right way. So
Nice.
good for you.
Good job, Alberto.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is. With all we do, there's right and wrong.
Yeah.
And that's what we have to ask you to do. Do it the right way. Protect everybody. Protect yourself. Protect your dog. Protect your child. It's just not from the on-ramp to the fast lane. That's not how it works.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know whether everybody remembers it, but Keeter Trucking had a 4-car pileup northbound I-25 about Alameda at rush hour in the fast lane. Piled up 4 cars, because the driver let the dog get under his feet. And he was trying to get it, looking down, trying to get him out from underneath his feet, and the traffic stopped, and he drove over 4 cars, And I mean, that's when really our insurance really started cracking down on it. They're like, hey, they had a policy come out, no dogs.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Serious stuff.
Right?
Yeah. All right, next on the list, we've talked about this before, but you want to open your tarp when you go to dump your load, or at least after you dump it. I would open it as you're rolling into the plant, as long as you can pay attention. But you don't want to leave that plant to go to the pit with your tarp shut, because sometimes you get up to the pit and your tarp won't roll forward, and now you can't load. You got to wait for somebody. Hopefully we got somebody come that can help you. But that's just kind of an easy, proactive thing to make sure when you get to the pit, you could get loaded.
Yeah, so true, Jam. And we've talked about the different scenarios. And like Dave said, I'll say it because I'm just spitballing, or we used to spitball about it. I like to see the truck covered all the time. You know what I mean? I think it's better for the public to see that. I think it's better for us, all that kind of stuff. And that's going up to the pit with it covered. But what if it does break from where you dumped back up to the pit? Like when you leave the yard here, what happens if it does? So we're asking you, we're covering the what if. Open it up, leave it open. You can at least get loaded, then we can deal with it. It's the safest way to do it.
What are those 2 scenarios? Proactive, reactive.
Reactive, right?
If we do it when we dump, we're being proactive that we're going to be able to get up and get another load. If we're doing it when we get up to the pit and we're there and it won't open, now we're reactive.
Yes.
Let's be proactive and be on the right side of things.
Amen. Another housekeeping item here. You want to keep all things inside the cab of your truck. That includes trash, cigarettes, and spit. It's not a good look for JFW when, somebody's parked next to you at a red light and here comes, a big loogie or water that you were rinsing your mouth out with or what have you. Obviously
water,
cigarettes,
chew.
trash, chew, keep everything on the inside of your truck. We're better than that. We're a class act. That just does not look classy to me anyway.
Did we have a chance to talk to that driver?
I'm not sure.
Because that was, I'll just, what Jam's talking about, you guys. We had a driver spit out the window and twice and sitting in at a stoplight, and we had a complaint call from a citizen. Thought it was gross, and I think it's gross when I see people spit out the window. Yeah. And again, you're representing not only JFW, but your brotherhood. You're trucking. And, again, this podcast is, meant for JFW. And I seem to think we have a lot of other followers in the industry. That goes for all the other industries. For whatever you do, don't throw your trash out. How disgusting. We've never liked cigarette butts. That's just, bullshit, basically. And then now we're spitting out the window. And I think it's thinking of every aspect of how you're just being a stand-up person. That's not, what would you think if you seen somebody spit a big loogie out the window sitting in front of you? It's gross.
As your wife is sitting in the car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just
better than if she spit it out. Oh.
Especially if it's chewed, right? Chewing? I don't know. It makes it like women can't chew, but
I think a lot of those women are, what's those new, what are they called?
Zyn?
Yeah. I've seen a couple girls in my EMT class, they were chewing on that stuff. Yeah. Nicotine pouch. Crazy. Last thing on my list is please call dispatch on the company radio or the main line only. Please do not call their cell phones, especially at 4 a.m. when you don't know that dispatcher is going to be the early person. One way to find out what you need to do is call dispatch directly here at the office or use your company radio.
Yeah, the company radios would be the best. We still miss a lot of information about who's doing what, and I know, it's even easy for dispatch to use their phones and call people when it should be done on the radio so other people know about it. We have that with the 4 o'clock and the 5 o'clock Coors person, just not having your radio on and not being able to hear that conversation because it's done over the phone. So important on call the dispatch number and use your company radio. Still the best way to do it.
Yep. So I feel like the discussion part was almost a lot of, I'm going to call it complaining, but these are just things that we have dealt with from last week's podcast to this week's podcast. And that's how we come up with our discussion topics sometimes. The safety topic of the week is also something we had to deal with this week, and that is a 15-second eye lead time. Okay? What does the 15-second eye lead time do for you? Well, as you're going down the road, you should be looking 15 seconds ahead of where you're at. Okay? The way you would count that would be pick something off in the distance, and it should take you 15 seconds to get to what you were looking at. That's a good way to judge. Basically, look pretty far up the road. The faster you go, the further up the road you need to be looking, and you shouldn't have any surprises of traffic stopping or having to slam on the brakes or anything like that. It's a good way to spot accidents up ahead and just a good way to use space cushion driving.
Yeah.
What's a good way to identify that you're not doing that?
Good
Panic
way.
stops.
Yeah,
Exactly.
exactly.
If you find yourself having to panic stop, have that oh shit moment several times, or once or twice a week, you're not giving yourself enough eye lead time. You're not looking far enough ahead in front of you to stop that loaded truck.
Yeah, and we have the time to investigate them, Dave. But the video yesterday, it was set up. The following distance was amazing. There was a big old gap, 52 miles an hour.
Yeah.
In the slow lane. And as the video plays and you're watching it, and we, because we have time to watch it, and so many times we get the videos and we're looking for what's wrong? What happened? What changed? In that video, you can see the traffic's brake lights come on way in front. Right. The camera picked up, like I said, what do you think the following distance was? Football field or better? Huh?
Yeah, following distance was good. Speed was good. Everything.
But we all seen the brake lights. You see it in the video. When you guys watched it, did you get the same feeling?
Yeah.
Oh, shit, the traffic's stopping. That's what I said to myself. And our truck just kept going until he had his oh shit moment,
Right.
which he should have had some soiled shorts,
Yeah.
and I mean, he couldn't get the truck stopped. He had to do evasive maneuvers.
Dive to the left lane.
Yeah.
The car in front of him actually
Moved.
tried to save his own life
Yep.
because he dove to the shoulder.
Yep. That driver was paying
You got to
attention.
credit
Yes.
that car
Yes.
driver, right?
Super
Right?
Dave, yes.
Man,
Yes.
when there's a hard stop, and you're in traffic, even if I didn't have to hard stop,
I try to
but
look-
I'm in the middle of that group, I'm looking in my mirror like,
yeah.
how am I going to get out and survive this?
Yep.
Right? If I can move my vehicle and let him hit the person in front of me, I'm all about that. Which sounds terrible, but I'm like, I want to get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
Right? I mean,
Can I give him that 20 feet of cushion? Maybe
Yeah.
that's all it's going to take.
Yeah. One of the things I want to bring up in that scenario too is this happened in a common spot, and we just talked about that a couple weeks ago on the podcast. I brought up, hey, we should know where these troubled areas are, right? Like when we're southbound I-25, where those backups can start, depending on the time of day, it can happen, right there at 92nd Thornton Parkway. It's always going to back up right there. Almost always going to be an accident just before 84th causing that. The backups before 120th, they're backing up well past 136th, sometimes past 144th in the afternoon now. Not now. I mean, they're just common areas, right? Coming down I-70 to the Kipling area, always in the afternoon between, 1 o'clock on, that can happen. This was southbound I-25 before the Santa Fe exit. Right lanes where all the vehicles, where that happens is where the merge from 6th Avenue gets
Yep.
on.
Yep.
And these are common merge area stops that, when they're not only hard stops, but they're common hard stop areas. That's where we need to really be vigilant. And it's just taking your eye off the ball for seconds. It literally is. And with the volume of traffic and the velocity of it anymore, and just how crazy people are, you can't afford to let your guard down for seconds. You just can't.
I mean, you gotta think about how fast the traffic flies up and down 270.
Right. At 10 miles an hour.
Everybody knows that's a bad spot, so you learn the bad spots,
Right. Absolutely.
Got anything for the discussion or anything like that before we move on to tips and tricks?
I think, like you mentioned, though, it seemed like a lot of complaining, Jam, but it's housekeeping.
I think it's safeguarding.
Yeah, I think that's
who can't benefit from this 15-second eye lead time refresher? And we're asking you to be proactive and realize that, hey, is this happening to me once a week? If it is, I need to change my driving habits right now and be proactive rather than have the oh shit moment of being reactive, right? I mean, you're not doing something correctly if you're having this happen.
Yeah, if you have accident mitigation on your truck and that thing's working a lot, that means you're not paying attention.
Right. Right. Absolutely.
The truck's stopping before you are.
Yes.
That's a
Yeah.
problem. And thank God for accident mitigation. I mean, what a great piece of technology and invention there.
Right.
That actually will save lives.
Yes.
Yeah, and you talk about the 15 seconds. How often do we run around town, not on the interstate, but overweight?
Never.
That's a whole different stopping scenario. We just talked about dogs in the truck and the children. Well, what if you don't bring your dog, and what if you don't have you have older kids, let's say. How about you be an advocate if you see somebody with a dog, and go, hey, you buckling him in? You paying attention? Did you hear the podcast? Yep. What if you see somebody with their kid? Say hi to him. Hey, did you remember to buckle the car seat? Are they big enough to have our normal seatbelt around them? Just help people out. You don't have to be an ass about it. But that's what this podcast is about.
Being involved.
Yeah. I know Channel 7, and I believe it was Pinnacle, they didn't even know we had a podcast. They took some pictures of the sticker on the back of Jimmy's trailer. And I hope they're listening. When you talk about being passionate about safety, here's this discussion that it sounds like we're complaining, but that's a passion about safety. We're accident free. It's the second thing on our creed. And why would you not want to be accident free? Why would you want to hurt your dog or your child or another person? You know, we talk about, for weeks now, we've talked about the 8-second video. You know, you said it or you did, Dave. Oh, that won't happen to me. That's exactly what that guy said. He
Yeah.
was just a dude with all the rest of us.
Yep. Thought he would be okay.
Thought he would be okay, and you're not unless you're thinking about the what if, or you know, Dave's saying being proactive, not reactive, and we talk about all of that kind of stuff. And Dave used a word yesterday that I haven't used, and we haven't seemed to use it. But what's your paradigm? What's other people's paradigm? You know, if you don't know what that is, look it up. You know, because you never know what the other person is going through, and that's their situation. That's their paradigm. You know, we tell that story that I hate telling about the kids on the train, and the dad's letting them run all over the place, and one of the passengers is like, hey, why don't you quiet your kids down? Don't let them run around like that. And the guy looks at him and goes, hey, I totally understand. They shouldn't behave that way. I wouldn't let them behave that way. But they just lost their mother at the hospital. She died, and I have to tell them. That's his paradigm,
Right.
you know, and man, that just tears me up where we don't take the time to think about the what ifs. You know, personally in my life, I'm tired about the what ifs. I carry them around on my shoulders every day, and you know, I see people leave and they don't give a shit about the what ifs.
Right. It makes you wonder
should
how
be my bumper sticker.
how is that freeing or is that ignorance?
I don't know, because I don't think people are stupid.
No.
You know, and ignorance is part of being stupid, I guess. In my definition of ignorance, because you've just ignored it. Dave.
Then is it just unknowing? Right? You can live and not think about that. Is that where there's the difference between being proactive and reactive?
And it could be
Right? You're proactive if you're worried about the what if. You're reactive if you don't care and it happens. I mean, is that, you know?
and is that
to
age?
me, that's
is that age and
It
knowledge
is a
too?
lot age,
Yeah.
but it's also the individual's choice making abilities. You know, should I do? You know, the dude on the news the other night that just got the brain implant to allow him to use his computer. Did you see that?
No, Dave. No.
It's really experimental. A couple of different companies do it. This is actually Elon Musk's company, and it's a chip in his head that's like an interface. He's paralyzed from the neck down, has no use of his arms or legs or anything, but he can now use a computer with his thoughts. Right? So, okay, great that he can do that, but the reason why he's paralyzed is because he jumped headfirst into a freaking pool with no water in it. Bad choice.
so you're telling me he doesn't make the best choices.
Bad choice, right? So those what ifs are
Clearly
things,
he's reactive.
yeah, things that you stop and think about like before, proactive or whatnot. But I've gone 100 plus miles an hour on my motorcycle, done things that you never think twice about when you're 20 something. But boy, when you're 60 something, you think about it a lot.
Yeah, I guess that's, you try to get to the root of different things, Dave, and we're talking about safety and things like that, and you mentioned that, but it is freeing or exhilarating to go 100 miles an hour, Dave. But if I do it today, like
It's awesome.
like when you mentioned, I do it when nobody's around, Dave.
That's why I had my cruise set like that.
And I don't know. I guess that's, yeah.
But
It's-
if you're worried really about what could happen, though, and this is a little bit of a different context, would we have sailed across the ocean in 1492? Would we have sent guys to the moon?
You can't do that. Your boat's going to sink.
Right? And plenty of them did. Right?
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely not, Dave. That's what I mean. It is so complicated what we're talking about because we take chances here every day about learning, different tires, different tarps, different trailers, different motors, that kind of stuff. If you didn't experiment,
Yep.
you wouldn't get anywhere. But I know, like the space shuttle, they did every safety measure they could do, except on the one on the shuttle where they, everybody convinced each other it was going to be okay. It was going to be okay. And that gasket failed how many times? That's the story we talk about, the 13th man. And that's where, when Dave says it takes a village here to run this company, it truly takes a village. But you got to want to be involved. Some people are just disengaged. They have their own piece, or their paradigm is that's all they can handle is their piece. And sometimes you have to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Scary, good stuff all the time.
Well, it'll be interesting to follow that guy you're talking about, Dave.
Yeah, because that's what a wonderful piece of technology.
Right? Yeah.
And yet it just sounds so sci-fi. I can control things with my mind now. And, wow.
Right?
I thought I recall somebody with I don't know if it was Lou Gehrig's or something. He couldn't move anything, but the computer could pick up his eyes.
Yes,
he could look at it, right?
He could look
I saw something.
Yeah,
about
he
that.
could look at the computer and he could type out what he wanted by looking at the keys or
Yeah.
looking at something on a computer that would pick up what letter he's looking at.
Yeah, and to give somebody the ability to communicate, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Right? It's amazing. I mean, communication, that's what this is another piece of communication.
100%. All right. Tips and tricks from Ray Davis.
No questions, Jam, from the audience?
No
This
questions. No. Nobody wants to know anything.
one? Ignorance is bliss.
Yep.
I do just have a little piece, since you're about to get to Ray Davis, that I understand he caught Brother Dave running around with
Man, you're even going to say it? Oh,
a Biden-Harris sticker
dude.
on his pickup. But
Yeah.
I think Ray had something to do with that.
I wasn't going to threaten Ray on air, but now that you bring it up.
Ray, you were doing really good with that, 0013 and getting the petition signed. But, man, I think that bumper sticker, you kind of ruined it.
Not sure what you're thinking there, brother.
So did you catch it or you didn't catch it?
It's kind of interesting, Jam. First off, no, I didn't catch it. To answer your question, no, I didn't catch it. I got fuel in the pickup on Monday, and I always check my lights and stuff on the pickup, and it was kind of interesting. Jim was with me. I didn't do that. I didn't do a walk around or nothing, and that's kind of my thing. Is every tank full of fuel, I check that stuff, and Ray calls me. He texts me yesterday, and I had left early to go to my nephew's graduation. And he texted me. He's like, hey, you got time to talk? And I didn't at the moment. And then, I don't know, 20, 30 minutes later, I called him. And he leads with, hey, I love you, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know, Ray. I love you too. And he's like, no, man, do you really love me? And I'm like, yeah, Ray, I love you a lot, man. What's up? What's the push here? And he's like,
Never mind.
well, I can't believe you're driving around with a Biden-Harris sticker. Actually, he kept saying Biden. He's like, I think I love Biden is what he kept saying. And it is to me, it's even worse. It's a Biden-Harris sticker, right? I'm like, oh my God. And I'm like, Ray, are you serious? He's like, yeah. And I'm like, dude, you're killing me. So I think the guilt was creeping in so hard on him that he's like, I can't let Brother Dave drive around like that. Now, the good news is it only made the trip home.
Oh, you didn't go to
The
IPOC
pickup's
meeting?
been backed in the garage. It's never been any further. And, I go to a pretty good car wash. It would have been blasted off at the car wash, hopefully.
Man, I could just imagine you pulling up to an IPOC meeting.
Right? Down at the represent. What's
Oh, man, Ray would
Ray?
never
Sorry,
let me
Ray
live it
would
down.
have just.
Yep.
He would have laughed.
Yep.
Man.
Yeah. So, Ray, I appreciate it. You must have been raised well. You've learned well that, all right, you pulled a funny and you even admitted it because you felt so bad. Right? That's kind of actually, to me, what made it even funnier.
Right?
You know what I
Right.
mean? Is
Right.
that made it funny
Yeah.
to me.
Yeah. To call you on it, go, hey, all
Right.
all that talk you do on the
Right.
podcast, you run around with
Yep.
a Biden-Harris sticker.
Yep. Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. It was good.
Couldn't hold it in any longer.
Right? Yeah.
Had to spill the beans.
So, tips and tricks from Ray Davis, the prankster. Passing on a 2-lane highway. With it being summer, means more people are out on the roads going camping, fishing, and hiking in the colorful Colorado mountains. When running two-lane highways, you must have your head on a swivel, scanning your surroundings and watching for animals and other vehicles. You should never pass anyone in a big truck on a two-lane highway unless there is a passing lane or a broken white line and enough room to make a safe pass. Do not pass on a double yellow line. When passing other vehicles, you must always check your mirrors before changing lanes. Make sure you think about how fast you're going and how fast they're going, and if you have enough time to pass. And is it really worth it? Hope all is well with the JFW family, friends, and listeners. Remember, safety has no blind spot. Look and lean, sit up on your stool, don't be a fool. Much love and respect always, Ray, the Black Sheep, 0013. So yeah, just to touch on that a little bit, if you're on a two-lane highway and you're doing, 70 and a truck in front of you is doing 68,
Don't pass.
you don't need to pass.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that too. Obviously, checking the speeds, how fast you can go, how fast they're going, but is it really worth it?
Right, Dave? Yeah.
Is it really worth it?
Is the risk worth the reward?
Yeah.
So
Right.
it's going to cost you 3 minutes if you go
If it-
10 miles an hour under the speed limit for 5 miles or
Here's
something.
the thing though, if you're on a two-lane road and you pass the truck ahead of you that's doing 1 mile an hour less than you are, there's going to be another truck in front of you doing one.
Right.
Like, it's not going to end, and it's just super, super dangerous. The risk is definitely not worth the reward unless everything's in place to do so. If you got a straightaway with a broken white line and it's a passing zone and, you're doing 70 and they're doing 60, yeah, pass them. It's not going to take you, you're not going to be left hanging out in that left lane. But what you don't want is you're going to pass that car or truck, you're doing a half a mile or 1 mile an hour faster. How long and how many, how far will you have to travel to actually clear that vehicle and come back over safely? It's just not worth it.
It's not, Jim, and we've talked about this before. It seems like every summer when 285 and Fair Play Run gets cranked up, we've talked about this every season, it seems like. And when you're passing in the oncoming traffic's lane, and that's a 60 mile an hour lane each direction, you need to account for 120 miles an hour. That's two objects at 60 miles an hour heading towards each other.
Yep.
That's 120 miles an hour.
Right.
You can't judge that. That car is going to be on you that you're trying to get in front of and around next to you, but the car that's coming head on to you is coming at you 120 miles an hour.
Yeah.
And people don't think of that. They don't realize that. They're like, oh, I have all the time in the world. No, you don't. And how many close calls have we seen up there just from four-wheelers passing us? We've been involved in a couple accidents. The one guy, he shot his pickup off in the woods because he had to cut over and hit our front bumper and shot off in the woods. His camper shell came off. His dog flew out in the woods.
Yeah.
Here's another point in case. Yeah, rolled the
rolled.
pickup. It was totaled because the guy just wanted to pass us. And he was on a double yellow in a curve, put a car in the ditch. He went off on the other side of the woods, and hit our truck. How many things went wrong? And it's like, for what?
All of them.
Right? What did you gain? There's your what if, Jim.
I know it, Dave.
I
get it.
Like Dave says, maybe that does just come with age. I look at it and I'm like, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'm not going to do it. I'll sit here happily behind this person going 10 or 15 miles an hour under the speed limit and get where I'm going because it is not worth taking on that risk.
So here's a great solution, and I use this a lot, like when I'm pulling my fifth wheel. That guy in front of you is going 70, okay? And I'm just taking this because our trucks can go 71 or 72. So I'm just picking a number at 70, but you've been going right up against your cruise control governor at 71, right? So you come up behind that guy and you're like, well, damn it, I don't have enough juice to get past him, but he's slowing me down, and you're jonesing about it. Well, guess what? Take your cruise off 70 or 72 and set it for 68, and then just kick back. And within a minute, that dude's gone from in front of you. You're getting down the road just fine, and there's no stress. And you will get there, accident-free, and probably within 4 or 5 minutes of when you otherwise would have got there.
That's what I was going to finish up saying. Yeah, that 68, 70, or even 70, 72, the 4 mile an hour, Dave, you're absolutely right. No difference, right? I mean, minutes.
I keep taking it though, you guys, that we're running up on a car that's just daydreaming and they're going 10 miles an hour under the speed limit. That's how I keep taking these passing events. Is there was a pickup and he couldn't go any faster, or you know what I mean? He had a load of wood on that he was going to take home and chop, or pulling a camper or whatever the case may be. It's still not worth it in that case. I just don't think it's worth it. You can't do it safely unless it's a passing zone.
Yeah, unless you. But even though those are dotted along there, it's not much time before you run onto one.
Yeah, I guess I'm saying a 2-lane. Mm-hmm. So we're both going the same direction. Not legal to pass in oncoming traffic.
Sure,
I guess is what I'm trying to say, Jim.
Yeah.
Soup, want to hit us with that high road hauling?
Oh, sure. I got a good one. I think it's a good one anyway. I can't remember what I was thinking about when I came up with this, but it's beneficial to anybody who has goals or dreams. And this high road hauling today is about the benefits of determination. Here's a saying that everybody's heard: winners never quit and quitters never win. We have all heard this saying, and it may seem overused, but that doesn't mean it's not true. Whether you call it determination or grit or old-fashioned hard work, the will to keep going is a vital component of success. In fact, research suggests, and we've heard this before, I've done this in a podcast or in a high road hauling before, determination is more important than being smart. That's because your intelligence and the rest of all of your talents are a passive quality, but determination is active. What that means is, number one, determination is transformative. Your innate talents may create opportunities, but you have to put in the real work to make those opportunities a reality. Hard work is so important that even if you have an average level of talent, you can still use determination to transform what you have to do into your success. Determination keeps you moving forward. Determination is about staying focused on a goal. And as long as you have a goal, you can create paths to that goal, moving even closer to the success that you want. Determination overcomes failure. What happens if you run into obstacles on the path to your goal, right? You push through them or you blaze a new path. That's the thing about determination. It helps you keep going regardless of what's put in front of you. With determination, failure is just a diversion. It's not an end. If you're worried that you don't have enough determination, you can take steps to improve your grit. Let the past guide you, but never let it consume you. The mistakes of yesterday should be lessons, not reasons for despair. Believe in yourself. If you are in control of your life, even in the most difficult moments, you still get to decide what to do. Believe in your ability to reach your goals. Celebrate others' successes. After all, every time someone reaches their goal, it's proof that goals are reachable, and you can achieve yours too, if you stay focused and stay positive. And have smaller goals within your larger goals. To keep yourself going, give yourself milestones you want to reach. For instance, you can't focus on all 26.2 miles of a marathon at once. Instead, it's better to focus on 1 mile at a time. Be grateful. Take time to recognize what you have instead of obsessing about what you don't have. It will help you stay grounded and keep you thinking about the positive. So where can determination take you? Determination can significantly improve your chances of advancing your career, finishing your education, buying a house, or saving for that vacation. Achieving anything you set out to do, having determination is your best ally. And the quote this week, a dream doesn't become reality through magic. It takes sweat, determination, and hard work. And that was spoken by Colin Powell. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Just great ideas. I mean, you got to be focused. You got to be driven. You got to have faith in yourself. And boy, you'd be surprised what you can achieve.
It's so true, Dave. Absolutely. We were just talking about it this morning, Dave. What's the guy's name? The one that I said you set your goals too high.
Yeah. Oh man,
I know.
Jordan Peterson.
Yeah, Jordan Peterson. So he's a guy he's got a little bit of a high voice. He's also a carnivore, strictly a carnivore diet. Really believes in it. But he talks Super Dave about. A guy was interviewing me and he goes, well, maybe you've set your goals too high. You know, you need lower goals. And the interviewer is like, why would you tell somebody that? What do you mean by that? You set your goals too high. And he goes, listen, he said, sometimes you set a goal that is so high that you get discouraged to meet it. And he said, I look at it, he said, anything above where you're at now is a goal. So maybe if you didn't reach your goal, you didn't set it low enough. So he said, set a goal that's attainable to give you that motivation to keep going.
And set a new goal.
And set a new goal.
Like stair steps.
And set a new goal, you know. And I got such a kick out of that. Because the minute I heard it, I'm like, well, maybe you set your goal too low. I'm like, what the hell is he talking about? You know, how do you have low
that's
goals?
That's not what you want to tell your
Right.
kid. Hey,
Right,
set your
right,
goals
right.
really low, bud. You know?
Hey, but if you're a C student, the next logical goal is a B.
Right.
You know, it doesn't have to be that A because you just went from a C to a B. You know how, it's back to those things of not celebrating the things that you do well and working so hard on the things that you do poorly that you may never do well.
Right.
You know, it's an interesting deal. And like all of that, Super Dave, what's your achievements? And yet, if you never strive, you're not going to achieve anything. So, yeah, so good. I don't know. I'm stuck on this podcast about just being worldly values about the what ifs and your paradigm and your goals and what are you going to do? How do you achieve things? What's your next step? And we talked the whole first part of it about how many people we have in the arena, and like Mikey. He's short mechanics. He's come in for how many years, Dave? At 7:00. Ricky goes on vacation. He's got 2 brand new guys. He didn't hang them. He shows up at 5:00 with the rest of us. He solved the problem.
Absolutely.
He didn't come to me and you and go, "Hey, you guys are there early. Can you help these 2?" He took care of it.
Yep.
And the thing is what respect did they gain for him?
Right.
Because he jumped in the marina.
Did he tell them what to do, or is he just leading them?
Yeah. He set an example.
Yeah.
And I think Teddy and Sergio are crushing it in there.
Right.
Yeah, good guys. I like them both.
Right.
Yeah.
And
really
Ricky's
good.
Ricky's going to come back from vacation because Ricky busted ass too. I mean, Ricky had to be ready for vacation.
Right.
With Chris
Yeah.
being gone and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
he's going to step in there and have these 2 guys that been hand trained by Mikey. That's amazing. You got JR and Jimmy jumping in there and doing that commercial. They feel strongly about the safety and stuff. And I know when JR asked Jimmy, I'm pretty sure the thing was, heck yeah. There was no
hesitation.
no
about it.
hesitation.
Yeah.
That's what he wants to do. And
Yeah.
we have so many good people that believe in what we do and strive to be better, Dave.
Yeah, Jimmy was funny too. He was so nervous going in. He held up his hand and he shook it on purpose, but he was telling me like, "Hey, bud, I'm nervous." And he goes, "Dave, I rehearsed all these answers that if they asked me a question, I would answer it like that." And he goes, "Man, none of that worked. Nothing, came together for me." And he goes, and I stopped and I wasn't sure what I should say. And I just laughed and I said, "Jimmy, you did great, man."
But right there is the example I'm talking about, and I've tried to inch through the whole podcast. He was proactive because he went home and did some research. He tried to prepare. He was ready. You know what I mean? They may not have asked those questions, but if they did, he was ready. He was proactive. He just didn't show up the next day and go, "God, I wonder how this is going to work." You know what I mean? He was proactive.
Absolutely.
He was on top of his game. He's engaged. He's doing a great job. They're prepared and ready to do it.
Yeah.
Taking the information he was given and going with it.
Absolutely, Dave. And the thing I want to bring up too, because I didn't think of it quite that way, but and when we went over the list of guys, not that there wasn't a lot of people with heart, but when I went with JR, he was nervous about that also. And the few spots I've done on the TV, the very first one, I'm all nervous and everything like that. And Erica's husband, James, said the best thing to do in these situations is speak from your heart. And when I've done a few of them, if I just speak about my heart and my passion, things roll out of you. And I knew JR and Jimmy would do a good job if they could get past, because you're always nervous, right, Super Dave? You can't stop the nerves. But if they touch upon something that you're passionate about, which that was passion for them, I know it turned out good, Super Dave, because it just comes out. It's like, somebody will ask me, I don't know, something about something else, and I'm like, I should know more about that. I should know more about that. But then you ask me about something here, I can talk about it forever.
Right, Jim?
A 13-minute podcast was our first one.
Right.
And yet we can come in here and talk 2.5 hours about our passion, about being safe, about, child safety, about following distances, whatever, cleaning out from underneath the liner, what trucks we're getting. We're, going to put the super tandems on the road here. And there's a, to me in my heart, there's a lot of excitement here every day. But you gotta be proactive, like Dave's saying. Your heart's gotta be in the right place. I don't know, he's been on my mind, but Paco coming up and asking, 2 weeks ago about about the one quote about the tree, and him going up and speaking in front of his congregation there, and he's like, oh, I'm nervous again, and stuff like that. But I just knew it would be good because it's from his heart. And passion, and it would be just fine. And it's stuff he knows. You just, and still you can't get rid of the butterflies. But once you step in that arena, you're ready. You're ready. And that's what so many people need to do.
Yes.
And I guess I've skirted around this because I'm thinking about the child safety and not buckling the car seat in. And I have to let everybody know that we went back and looked at the video of when we picked up, when the driver picked up his son, and he was on the phone the whole time he put the car seat in the truck.
Yeah, distracted.
I have to bring that out, that he was just distracted on the phone, not paying attention to the job at hand. And
the one strap on the child seat alone, Jim, nothing to do with the seatbelt in the truck around the seat. I'm talking about just the seatbelt for the car seat.
Mm-hmm.
You know how it's like a 6-point harness.
Yeah.
Comes
harness,
over both shoulders,
way
around the
too
lap.
loose.
Yeah, it was hanging off like a bra strap on the side of his shoulder. You can't have that on a little kid. You got to strap them little suckers in there and not let them move.
That's right. I mean,
They're like little boogers. They'll squish out everywhere.
he was not properly restrained, and the seat was not attached.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just FYI, if anyone does need a car seat installed, all fire departments will do it for free. They'll teach you how to do it. You just show up there with your car seat. They'll put it in, and man, it's
and they drop a knee in it.
Yeah, they
lock that
teach you
son of
to
a
put
bitch
your
in
knee in that car seat where the kid's butt would go, and drive it down in the cushion and push it backwards and lock that seat tight.
Yep.
And when my wife went and had it done when we had Sam, 20 years ago, 18 years ago. And I was like, come on, it can't be that tight. Man, I went out and I grabbed all that car seat in the car. And I'm like, oh, my God, that thing's not going anywhere. How did they get it so tight? And she's like, oh, he put a knee in it. And, of course, because it took a village to raise our kid. You guys had car seats,
We
Jim.
had
Grandma's car had a car seat. Grandpa's car had a car seat. Her parents had – I was so car seat poor by the time Sam was out of car seats. I'm like, can we sell these? You know what I mean?
And you can't.
You can't. You can't even
It's a
donate
safety
them.
issue.
Yeah. Did you know that, Dave? You can't donate a car
No.
seat.
Yeah, I
No.
knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. So anyway, when you put because I installed many after that. And you put your knee in it and drive that thing in the seat and smash the cushion down, tighten those straps, those car seats are in there.
And why is the fire department doing that, Dave?
Because they've been to enough accidents where kids have been hurt because they're flopping out of their car seats.
Right?
Yeah.
And what else are they doing?
being proactive,
Oh, shocker.
right? Do you know why? Because they've been to enough scenes of people
Yes,
that
that-
were reactive.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember Erica. I mean, she was a magician getting out of a car seat. I mean, it was like, I don't care how many times you buckled it. And she learned how to fasten, push the buttons, undo the clip, crawl out, squirm out. I mean, at one point, you guys, I would take a giant rubber band and I would crisscross it 3 or 4 times around the little clip for the safety belt. And she'd get so mad because she couldn't get out from underneath it. And I don't know how many times Allie, in reference, Erica's my youngest, Allie's my middle, and Danielle's my oldest, but Allie would be in the back seat. Erica's out of her car seat again. And you'd look in the back, you'd look in the rearview mirror, and there's Erica standing on the seat looking at you. Like, get in your car seat. Oh, shoot. And then yet all of us grew up with no seat belts.
I know.
No seat
Back
belts.
seat didn't even have seat belts.
Yeah.
In my mom's 1963 Pontiac station wagon, you know?
Dad smoking with the windows up.
Yeah. That won't kill my kid. I cracked the window.
Yeah.
A little secondhand smoke never hurt anybody.
Absolutely.
Little did they know it's the worst smoke because
Times
you're breathing
have
the
changed.
non-filtered smoke and they're breathing the
A
filtered smoke, right?
Yeah.
Times have changed.
Yeah, for sure.
And they're still changing.
Yeah, for the
Right?
good, for good and bad. No matter how we talk about it, there's so many good things out there. You know?
Well, there's so many things now that, you know, some of the safety is so beyond, like, I don't know. I mean, I'll give you a for example, right? My wife's Yukon, it's a 21. And I don't know how I do know how I developed the habit. You know how when you start your car and it high idles, right? And it's at like 1200 or 1400 RPM or whatever. I don't like to just drop it in gear and go, right? I mean, if it was, you know, down at the 800 RPM or whatever, 900, whatever it idles at, put it right in gear and go. Well, when I start it in the garage, it's at high idle. I've developed the habit. I put it in neutral and roll out of my garage. It happens to be a gradual enough hill or angle so the water drains out, I can roll out of the garage. All of the cars we had before that, I did that with. Her Yukon, it rolls 4 feet and stops. The brakes come on and apply because it knows.
Oh, wow.
And I'm like,
knows that you're in neutral and rolling.
right. And
It's a safety feature.
And I guess
yeah.
what drives me crazy, it has all the sensors. It knows I'm in it because I'm buckled. It knows I've turned the wheel because it's got electric steering. It knows I put it in neutral. It didn't just happen, right? Because you have to hold neutral. To put it in reverse or drive, you just pull it and it's in gear. To get it in neutral, you have to push it and hold it. So it knows you're awake, but it still won't let me roll out. And like, I test it every time, you guys. Like, I get in it and I hit it in neutral and I'm like, I'm going to get this thing out of the garage today. And I think it's happened like twice in probably 300 tries, right? And I still do it because I'm thinking, okay, maybe I'll get out one time. So I guess, why do we need that safety? Because at some point, someone's been in neutral, they didn't know it and drove over somebody or hit somebody or whatever the case may be, right? And it's like, you know,
It doesn't know that you haven't just had a heart attack or something like
I
that.
guess, Dave, yeah, I'm to the point we're so safety conscious at what we're just going to be continued to be tied down on some things. You know, that just happens to be one example that I think it's a little extreme. How can it not know I did all these things? It knows I buckled. It knows I pushed and held neutral. It knows I've moved the wheel, but it's still not going to let me do what I want to do. You know, and that bugs me.
I have the same thing about green arrows. Left hand turns on green arrows. Because you don't need those unless you are the person that didn't see the traffic coming and pulled out in front of it.
Right?
You know, I mean, holy smokes, how nice it would be not to have any green arrows. That's my pet peeve. Hey, traffic's coming. Don't make a left.
Yeah. Rocket science.
Right.
Rocket science.
Yeah. Maybe I went a little too descriptive with that one. Too far. Too far left. How's that? Or is that right?
Just depends.
Just depends, huh?
Yep.
Oh, man.
Closing thoughts.
Final thoughts, everybody?
Yeah, like I said, let me flip pages here, or maybe I was on that page. Who knows? Just a little thing about Memorial Day coming up this weekend. I don't know. As far as I know, we're closed Saturday. That's the way it sounded when we were at Brandon. I don't know that for sure, but
I'm of the impression nothing's going. Everything is closed with the exception of Coors.
Sure.
Coors is running.
We do have the Coors weekend going.
Yep.
So Memorial Day here, you guys. It was originally set up. It is a federal holiday. It was originated as Decoration Day after the Civil War, about 3 years after the Civil War ended. In 1868, the head of an organized Union veterans, the Grand Army of Republic, established Decoration Day as a time for the nation to decorate the graves of the war dead with flowers. So that's where it originated in 1868. And it is really set up to thank, decorate, celebrate, all those different words of the people that have given their lives to our freedom. And even though if it was set up at the Civil War, that's an internal war of America. And but we still all those people on both sides were still Americans. They still suffered losses. We still have to celebrate what they believed, and luckily we were able to come together as a nation. And it is for our service members, supposed to be strictly for our service members. And I read that several times that's what it's for. And some people felt that we shouldn't celebrate our other loved ones that we've lost. And I know there is Veterans Day and Memorial Day. I kind of feel that we've used it in the past, that it's just a good day or a good point to take some time and celebrate and think about the ones you've lost. We used to take Mom every year and go out to her family and we'd trim the gravestones and clip the grass and clean them off and put flowers in it. It's just a little bit of time to celebrate family in a different way, to reflect on those that aren't with you. And
for me, it was definitely more to reflect.
Yeah,
right. Bring back memories and things
the
like
values.
That. Yeah, I guess you could call that celebrate, but it was more of a reflection for me, I guess.
I guess that's I was struggling with the word celebrate when I was talking about.
Yeah. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
right?
it is a time for the nation to decorate the graves. Decorate graves. It just is so morbid, but that's what it is. That's what we're doing.
Yeah.
So I just for all the service members' family that your family members have given the ultimate sacrifice. Thank you. I don't know. You may not have served, but your dad may have served, your brother may have served, your mom may have served. However, just thank you if they've lost their lives in the line of duty and all of that. I think that's truly what this day is about. And I do, and I'm not sticking to the, maybe the correct meaning of it, because I've taken the time and celebrated the loss of our other family members. But I think it's important. It's just not a 3-day weekend. It's just not hamburgers and hot dogs. And I know, Dave, and you admitted to it so heartfeltly that, the weather looks good for this weekend, right? That was just because it's time off that, hopefully remember our loved ones.
People are outside celebrating for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Maybe not celebrating their, deceased family members that they miss and love, but either way, it's the first holiday of the summer season, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to leave a thought, and it's a really different one. You guys, through the beginning of the podcast, we talk about the Men in the Arena, and that's by Theodore Roosevelt. And love that speech. And I've seen so many people use it through the years. I mean, I don't know if he personally wrote that or had somebody write it or a collaboration, but man, I don't know. Just
I think he was trying to compete with Churchill at the time, Jim.
Right, which some of his speeches are amazing to reach the people. But Theodore's wife, Eleanor Roosevelt, is quite a woman also. Activist, well-spoken and things like that. And I don't know if it was right at Memorial Day. And this is when you talk about your service members, and I'm just going to speak about the Marines. Not that I don't feel like any other service member isn't important. And this is the cleanest thing. This is the cleanest. This is something she said that's so different sounding, but she's celebrating a Marine basically. But she says, the Marines I have seen around the world have the cleanest bodies and the filthiest minds.
Sounds like a truck driver.
Right? The highest morale and the lowest morals of any group of animals I have ever seen. Wow. Thank God for the United States Marine Corps. And you just, how different that is. But if you've served or believe in this country or know that we fought in wars, you know what she's getting at with
That's the personality that can go out and win a war.
And protect our country, right, you guys? So thanks everybody. If you even if you serve, thank you for your service. I think that's what Memorial Day should be about.
Amen.
It's good closing, Jim. I'm good with it.
A good way to end.
Yep.
Thank you.
Same. Good.
I was going to say something a little bit different. I have 2 doctor's appointments today, and Todd Dull and I were talking about this yesterday because he had an early off to go to a couple of appointments as well. And we looked at each other and say, hey, listen, you got to make the appointments because if you don't, you'll never go. So go out there and make those appointments and stop putting it off because if you don't, you're going to blow them off forever.
Good call, Dave.
Yep.
Yeah, it's proactive, Dave.
Right?
I mean, it's funny you said that because
Right.
I have a nice appointment at 9:30.
Nice.
A telehealth one.
My first appointment is with the stupid skin doctor, and I'm wondering what the hell they're going to cut off of me this year. Every freaking year.
I save you some time, Dave. I cut something off you. Take an earlobe, a finger.
Yeah, right? Well, I've
Thanks
had
for
enough
the
cut off of there.
thanks for the reminder. I've been trying to make an appointment with this spine doctor, and comes highly recommended. He's board certified, this and that. I made an appointment, or I filled out the form online, called, left a message, nothing. So, I mean, there's a lot of spine doctors in town. I guess I'll
Right?
find another
Yeah,
one.
there is.
Yeah, the thing is, Jam, and I know we're at our final thoughts, but you have to be proactive, right?
Yeah.
But you have to be an advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
And when you run into those deals, that's what we've asked everybody to be: proactive and an advocate for yourself.
Yeah.
We just had Jennifer here last week, and we have a lot of new people that don't remember, but she was one of our dispatchers, was here for a long time, ended up getting MS, and she's battling that like a superhero. And she came in the other day, and she'd moved to Oklahoma, but she came in the other day, and I think, Jam and Super Dave, probably the best you've ever seen her in how many years?
Oh, man, no doubt, Jim.
Right?
Yep,
And
no
I
doubt.
said, so what's the secret? What's going on, Jennifer? And she changed doctors. They've taken her off a lot of her medicines. One of the medicines was giving her seizures that she was battling. And, that's... and it's not like the first doctor was doing anything wrong, but be an advocate for yourself. Find somebody that listens to you also,
Right.
and understands. I just, we had Danielle on a few weeks ago. We were with her this weekend, and she's having some women issues, and starting into early menopause or something like that, which is not, she's not getting all her hormones, and she loves her doctor because the doctor listens to her.
Right.
And she goes through everything I've done, her nursing. You guys heard her on the podcast. Find somebody that listens to you also.
Yeah, just listening to Danielle talk about finding somebody to listen. Ace had an appointment with somebody shortly after that, and I was like, babe, make sure he listens to what you're saying. That was great advice. And it's kind of weird. You think that doctors are kind of the next level. You know what I mean? Like, you you're going to get a doctor and this person spent so much time in school and they're going to be amazing. So Ace just had her surgery. She had a septoplasty and a turbinate reduction inside her nose to help fight sinus infections and breathing and stuff like that. The doctor / surgeon was great, came to talk to us, like everything was cool. When we were there, his assistant came in and was like, oh, let's see when the follow-up is. Oh, I don't see it. We'll make sure you have that before you leave. Nobody ever made sure she had a follow-up. And then the doctor went on vacation. So like, here was this good experience. And now she's calling like, hey, I'm supposed to have a 1 week follow-up. It's important. And they're like, well, we could see you in June. I mean, if you know my wife, she's not putting up with that. She'll advocate for herself, but it's like, the doctor couldn't say, hey, listen, I'm going to be on vacation. This is who I recommend you see. Or, you would just expect a higher level of communication at that level. And it's unfortunate that they're just like everybody else.
Isn't that crazy,
Yeah.
Jam? I don't even know how to put into words. You expect a doctor's office or
The
just people
utmost
that you
professionalism.
yeah, you would think you would get at a higher professionalism company. I don't even know another. See,
Right.
I mean, I can't even come up with the words to say that. You would expect more professionalism out of them, when in actuality, it's just the people they have.
Right.
That's what they're
Because
going to get what they get.
They're
And-
just people. They're all
Yeah.
like us. We
Yeah.
make mistakes, and if you're not,
Just like us.
if you're not top of the game, I listening to you guys, Jam. I always, I had shoulder surgery twice, and I always find it, if they're so professional, how come they always draw and mark on the arm you're having?
one?
Which shoulder is it? My left. Which shoulder is it? My left. Which, people ask you 50
Right.
times, then they come in and write on it.
Yeah. It's because
And I'm
somebody
like,
took off the right by accident.
Right.
Exactly.
So if they're so professional, why are they drawing on the arm to make sure? Because mistakes happen, but they're being proactive.
Yeah. Like my wife has to have these like splints, they call them. They're like these little plates. She has to have them cut out of her nose at the 1 week mark.
Wow.
And doctor just, I'm on vacation. Good luck.
Wow.
I mean,
She blow her nose really hard and hope they come out.
she can't blow her nose for 2 weeks. Yeah, it's been wild.
Yeah.
But then like, I have my favorite sports doc. He had been working on me forever. Well, he got out of the practice for a while, went into like medical sales. Well, he's finally back and he's working for a spine and ortho place, right? So once I find he's back there and I look up the website, I was like, oh wow, these guys do everything that the guy down south does. Maybe I should just go there. I'm like, no, this other guy came highly recommended and watched a couple of his YouTube, but nobody's going to call me back. I mean, this place is closer. Like,
Sure.
yeah. Anyway, don't forget to like and subscribe to the Channel 23 podcast. Hit that follow button. Also, don't forget to go back and listen to episode 72 to help find Amber's mom. Links to her story will be in today's show notes. You guys ready for the creed?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's do it. Together we face and overcome
all that stands before us. Together we are accident free. Together we joyfully create honest value for those we serve. Together we celebrate our differences and respect those with whom we work. Together we are accountable for our words and our actions. And together we are the JFW family.
Woo! Everybody have a good
Thanks
week.
for listening.
Have a great week.
I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a looking for another load. Well, it's a family tradition, any Rocky Mountain day. Our fathers before us showed us the way. We worked for asphalt cowboys and concrete kings, but that's never been a problem, cause we got diesel in our veins. We've got diesel in our veins. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. I hear there's a couple million tons to move. I see them everywhere. So you best get out their way and watch that sand and gravel disappear. There's another run to make We gotta get it there on time, and we got what it takes to lay it all out on the line. We'll lay it all out on the line. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks got the best drivers in town. They got all the tools they need to keep that hammer down. When they hit them scales, they won't need to dodge them, won't need to duck them. They just keep that hammer down, and they keep that diesel trucking. Keep that hammer down, and keep that diesel trucking. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-looking for another load. They just keep them doors a-closed, keep them butts in their seats, 'cause those customers are calling, and those red trucks can't be beat. They've gotta put the hammer down and pick up another load. Get it off the ground, keep them eyes open and on the road. Keep them eyes open on the road. I see those big, bright, shiny red trucks just a-trucking down the road. Those big, bright, shiny red trucks just looking for another load. Breaker 23, anybody got a copy on that Channel 23 podcast? Welcome, and thanks for listening.